Alright, I'm going to attempt to show the steps that I use if I'm making a 72 tooth gear with my spindex, yeah, I think it's called a spindex. And that's a even degree, so I can use the spindex without the tape. I use the tape for gear tooth combinations that are like 5.5 degrees or 5 or 4.5 degrees or whatever, you know, when it ain't a full degree. And then I use the tape and I use my little pointer. And I'll show you a little pointer on here that I put on, if I can get here, that I put on my spindex right here. This little pointer. And this pointed out, got a little pointer going out and like a needle going out, and I wrap my tape around the hub. I know the length, and then I divide the tape up into the amount of teeth. If I got 50 teeth, then I divide that tape into 50. So anyway, that's for odd number of degrees. Alright, so I'm gonna see if I can switch the camera around. Nope, I have to stop and then switch the camera around and point the other way. Okay. So the first thing you want to do, if you don't know the center height, I would suggest getting the center height and then scribing it on there somewhere. And then you don't have to, when you're setting your cutter height, you don't have to go and do the calculation from here. You can just set it to the center height. So the first thing you want to do is put your hub in there that you're going to mount your gear on, your gear blank on, and don't have the blank on yet, but you know what the diameter is. Say it's 500. You come in and you touch off the top of that, move out, move down 250, and then you move half of the tooth width so that your cutter is right on center line. Okay, so once your cutter is right on center line, then you go ahead and put your blank on there. And the blank for oops, darn it. Ugh. Are you looking at my ear? Alright, so you put your blank on there. I'll just put a screw in here, the screw in here, so it doesn't fall off again. Go the other way. Okay, and for a 72 tooth, 20 pitch, or 20 diametrical pitch, it's 3 inches 700 thou OD. Alright, so then what I do is I'll start with 0 here, put the indexer over on the 0, put the pointer here on 0 and push this in. That locks it. Make your first cut. Okay? When you make your first cut, the total depth, you'll touch off of your gear blank, and your total depth is 112.5 thousandths. And you crank in that 112 and take your cut. So then you want to move to the next gear. So next tooth. So you pull this out without moving anything. Push this in on the 5, and it won't go. It won't go. So you hold pressure on it, and then just turn it, and it should be right in the middle. It's 5 degrees. Okay, then you take your cut, same way. Move over here to the 0, go to the 10, push the indexer pin in. I can't do this with one hand very well. It must be in. And then make your cut, the same thing, go back to the 5, push it in, and then turn it to the middle. So 15 degrees. And taking it all the way around. Just keep on doing that. Back to the 0, put it on 20, back to the 5, put it on 25. I hope you're following me. And it's just a matter of going from the 0 to the 5. And say it was 12 degrees every tooth. You'd go 0, then you'd put it over here on the 2, and you'd go past the 10 to the 12. Follow it? So the next one would be 24. So you go over here to the 4, push it out past the 20, 24. And the next one, 36. So you go over to the 6 and go past the 30 and to the 6. Trying to show you and hold the camera. I'm probably moving it all over the place here. Let's just put it down here. Come on, stand still here. Leg wants to. I think it'll stay. Okay. So, back to the 72 tooth where it's every 5 degrees. So you start out with 0. You can see the pointer here is pointing right at 0. Or that's on 5, dummy. 0. Put it in the 0 hole. And the 0 here. You're at 0 degrees. To go to the next tooth, you go put it in 5, move it to the 5, move it, kind of halfway. You can't get it wrong. If you get this in the right hole, and you're between the teeth, you can't get it wrong. I mean, you can't get it wrong here. If you went back here, it would be just going the other way. So you can't really get it wrong. You start out with a 0, make your cut, put it into 5, make your cut, put it into 0, make your cut, put it back into 5, make your cut. I hope that sheds light on it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If you have any comments at all, I'm open for comments. So that'll be it. Making the gear. I can show you the tapes. I have them up here. I save them when I divide them up. But here's the tapes. And then, like I say, I just put them on the hub. And then I used this little pointer over here that I put on. All I did was just drilled and tapped a hole and stuck a piece of drill rod to a point that I have that is ground to a point there, so that I can get right on the line. And when to divide them up, I used the mill. I just taped it down on the table, the mill table, and just started out with 0, then cranked how many thousandths and drew a line. I put a pencil in the quill. I have a quill pencil here. Oops, that I made. That's actually a pen that stick up in the quill. So I start out with 0. Then I make my line on the tape, crank the table to the next line, make the line, next line, make the line, next line, make the line. I actually have used my NC to do it for me too, so I don't have to do all the cranking and figuring it out. I just, because that's spring loaded, that pencil, that pen, it's so it can go in the NC machine and then it can just come down, and it's spring loaded. I put a spring behind it so that it can come down on the paper and on the tape, and you know, and then make the line. It works really good on the NC machine. Make any gear you want just with that tape, you know, just cut the tape. You don't have to cut the tape to the exact length either. What you do is if I have 72 teeth, I make 73 lines, and then I line up the 2 lines when I put it on, or cut it and then line up the 2 lines when I put it on there. Well, they will line up, and you're ready to go. So, all right. I was trying to make it short, but got kind of long-winded anyway. So, until later, we'll catch you later. Until then. Well, like I say, if you have any comments or questions, I do make my gear hobs too sometimes, so I don't have to use a single point. I can use a gear hob to make my gears. I have a few of the smaller ones, like 48, because it's too small to grind up. Kind of small to grind up by hand for a single pointer. So, all right, catch you guys later.